Good morning and welcome back to Joe and Di's Allotment channel. Thank you to Di for being behind the camera as always. We're now in week 4 of July, so we've got lots of jobs to do this week. A little bit of sowing, not too much. Lots of harvesting as always in July and August and September. Yeah, and other little jobs to do as well. Weeding and watering is very important at the moment because we're having a bit of a heat wave, as everyone knows. It's been a very dry, the whole of June and July has been very dry. I don't think it's rained for ages. So yeah, I mean, watering is very important to keep your crops alive. Best time to probably water is in the mornings, but any time of the day is okay, whenever you've got time to water basically. Soil dries out very quickly this time of year if we don't water. So yeah, do a little seedlings update first. These are some of the seedlings we've been growing over the last few weeks. We've got some little gems and some Lolo Rosso lettuces. They're coming on quite well, so they can go out in probably another couple of weeks yet, I think. We've got some Boltardy beetroot. We've got 2 lots of beetroot. These seem a little bit more advanced than these ones. So these are Cylindra and Boltardy. So once they get to a certain stage, I'll put them straight into the plot, straight out of the module in their little groups and put them straight in, a bit like a plants that you buy to put straight into the soil. Got some salad onions, got some rocket and mustard growing there, a little bit of radish, and the salad mix is coming on quite well, so they should be able to start putting some of those up in a couple of weeks time as well. Put them straight into salad, just use the leaves. So yeah, that's coming on quite well. So the first thing we're going to do this morning is pick all the apples off the floor. I know it's called the June drop, but we seem to have a lot coming down in July as well. It's sort of nature's way of reducing the crop on the tree, so they fall off. But instead of just putting them straight into the compost, well, we do put quite a lot of them in the compost. The ones that are rotten or damaged, if they're very damaged, we put them in the compost. But we like to keep the others. We sort of peel them, chop them, and make an apple sauce with the ones that have left. So we make an apple sauce and we tend to freeze that, and we use it to make muffins or cakes or other recipes as well. So yeah, I mean, they're useful. So rather than just put them straight in the compost, we'll sort them out and use as many as we can. So that's the first job. Yeah, so we're going to sort out the apples. The ones that are beyond use we'll put in the compost bin straight away, and the ones that fell off but look quite good, we'll peel, chop out the good bits and make them into a apple sauce. So it's just a matter of picking them up, and if they're really tiny as well, put them in the compost bin. It's too much hassle to do anything with them. Just make a quick sort out, keep the ones that are okay, and put the ones that are not in the compost bin. So we've got a bucket full for the compost bin, which the worms will enjoy. As you can see, it's very active because we've got lots of the worms in the lid. And these rot down very quickly. Soon go down. That's it, so that's done. For a couple of days, probably more. So the only thing I'm planting in modules this week is some more spring onion, which is white Lisbon, which is a quick maturing variety. They germinate in about 21 days. They should be ready for putting in about 4 months. So yeah, I mean, we plant them in modules. And when we plant them out, it's like a plug plant. We plant them out in their little bunches, and they grow in their little bunches. And when we pull them up, we've got a sort of a little bunch of onions basically. So yeah, these should be ready in about 4 months or so. They won't go out, probably won't be able to plant them out. It'll take about 21 days to germinate, and then they probably won't go out for a good sort of 6 or 7 weeks probably before they can go outside onto the plot. So that should be a nice little bunch in each module. So we cover them with about a centimetre. these have all been pre-watered. That's just about a centimetre of soil, which is just over a quarter of an inch, I think. Quarter of an inch, between quarter of an inch and half an inch. Give that firming down and just keep them moist until they germinate now. We've got one little bunch already there, a bit further ahead. So this will be the next batch after that one. Keep a succession going. Give these a firm down. Give these a firm down, and they've been pre-watered, so they're moist already. Just a matter of keeping them wet now. As I said, they should germinate about 21 days. Yeah, so it's just a steady supply of tomatoes coming through now. Some lovely ones there. Nice little cherry tomatoes. Nice in our salads. They're so tasty compared to the supermarket ones. It's unbelievable. The difference is unbelievable. It's a really disappointment when we run out of tomatoes every year and start having to buy them again. But yeah, they're lovely. So tasty and sweet. So that's that, yeah. Nice little supply of that. Also chopping down the basil. Chop it down and it will re-germinate again. We take this in and air dry it. Got two different basils here. We've got a normal basil and a cinnamon basil.
It smells nice.
It's a lovely smell when you chop it as well, isn't it? But yeah. The little chili peppers are coming on really well now. I think this is a really hot variety. Coming on really well. So we've got a nice bunch of basil out of the greenhouse. Give it a thorough wash. Just going to give it a little dry. And then we'll hang it up in the kitchen and air dry it, which is, as it says on the tin, basically leave it in the kitchen till it's dried out really. And then you can crumble it up or use it as you're going along really, when you're making something. So this is a bunch we picked a couple of weeks ago. It's been hanging in the kitchen, so it's nice and dry now. It's crumbly. So we'll hang up the new one now, let that dry. So I'll crumble this up and maybe put it in a jar now. So just tied it up and we'll hang it in the kitchen here, and it'll probably dry in about 14 to 21 days. And then we can crumble it up and use it or put it in a jar. Just crumble it up a bit and I'll put it in a jar, and it's so thoroughly dry it'll last for ages. So it's in a jar now, and we'll add to that as we go along the rest of the harvest. So this is last year's, we've still got last year, we're still using last year's, which I think we blended last year, so it's a much finer powder. Yeah, a lot finer. We're still working our way through last year's harvest. So we'll add to this one as we go along this year, and we'll start using that one when the 21 harvest finishes. So yeah, good. So it's just a matter of peeling the June drop in July. We peel them and then we give them a wash, and then we chop out the good bits, discard the bad bits. I've got a sort of compost bin full of compost nearly already. So give them a wash, and then we'll put them into a pan and cook them down, and then I'll blend it, and then we'll freeze it afterwards. And if you don't want them to sort of go brown, it doesn't matter anyway because they're going to cook down. You can put them in lemon juice to stop them going brown if you want a white sauce, but we don't mind. We just, yeah, we'll cook them down like that, and we'll freeze them, put them in containers in the freezer, and use them as we go. I think we've sort of got about 2 left from last year so far, nearly all gone. So it's just coming at the right time really, because we're running out. So we've cooked down the fallen apples, and I've blended it, and we've got 5 containers about a cup and a half in each one. So it's quite a good little haul there, really. Just from apples that would have normally gone into a compost bin. It's an alternative to using eggs and oil if you want to make sort of cakes, muffins, biscuits. We tend to use it for cakes, muffins and biscuits rather than put oil or eggs in. We'll put the apple sauce in, makes it a little bit healthier. But yeah, and it tastes really nice as well actually. You can also use it on porridge. Defrost it and add it to your porridge. So there's various ways of using it. But yeah, it's not a bad little haul from what was falling apples off the tree. Blackberry season's just starting, so it's nice to get some early ones. So it's a really good time on our muesli, and it's free food. Who doesn't want free food these days? Yeah, I mean it's no sowing, no planting, just pick them. So there's lots of little spots over the allotment, sort of over the back. We've got a wild area, and there's loads of them down there. So we do pick quite a few. Use them as we go along, and we also freeze some as well, which is nice. So yeah, some lovely looking blackcurrants there.
Berries.
Berries, not blackcurrants. I always get confused between the two. Just dug up a few more potatoes. So we've just finished off the first earlies, which were the rockets, and we've started on the first two plants of the Nicholas. So not a bad little crop though, so looking good. Lovely looking potatoes. But the ground is getting harder and harder. We need some rain basically. It's getting so clumpy. I think I'm going to need a jackhammer to get the next ones out, I think, rather than a fork. We're going to crop some climbing beans, but some of them are starting to sort of chubby up now and forming beans inside, so those ones we'll leave. We'll just pick the nice tender ones for cooking now, and we'll let the other ones set beans, and we'll use those as dried beans for sort of winter soups, winter stews. So yeah, we'll leave those ones, and we'll just pick the tender ones today. Climbing beans were a bit late to get going this year, but they're coming on really well now. And as I said, we're leaving some behind for beans, but yeah, we'll get a decent crop, and we've got some later ones, so they're just coming through now. So yeah, it's taken a lot of watering this year, but we're finally getting some crops out of them. That's a big courgette. It's not a marrow, it's a large courgette. We're getting quite a few now, so not a bad size. This one's a proper courgette. Quite a few. A decent one here. I'll leave that one or take it? Leave that one for a bit longer. The butternut squashes are coming on well as well now. They just start to chubby up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking good. Some more courgettes. And the pumpkins are starting to develop, and the kokoro pumpkins are getting good. And this one's getting really decent size. Quite a nice size, that one. I think the biggest one's over there actually. It's coming on really well. It's just a matter of keep watering and feeding these now to fatten them up. Looking good though, the pumpkins. Excellent. We're going to leave all these ones for drying beans, I think. They're sort of chubbying up now. Got a couple of different varieties here, but we'll leave them to dry off on the plants now. I think they're starting to toughen up anyway, and I think they'll be hard to eat now. Yeah, the leeks aren't as large as we thought they'd be by this time of the year. They're very, very slow this year. They're alive. I weeded them all the other day. I've been watering them as well, but I think I need to earth them up as well at some stage, but I'm hoping it rains in the next few days, and then I can earth them up a bit to sort of make the stems a bit whiter at the bottom. So we try and earth them up but not get it into the leaves. It's a gradual process, so we keep earthing them up as they grow, but at the moment they're a bit too small to earth up really, so I'll leave them a bit longer, I think. Just keep the weeds off them and water them. Another job for this week will be to cut the comfrey down again. We go working through our comfrey liquid, watering the runner beans, tomatoes, cucumbers and the squashes. So we'll cut this down and start some more juice, comfrey juice this week. We've got some here, we've got some over there, and we've got some down the other plot to chop down. So I'll chop all those down and immerse them in water this week. I've mentioned before, I think in a previous video, that we want to move our strawberry plot this year because it's not producing as much as it has in previous years, so it's time to renew it really. So what we'll do in the next couple of weeks or so is start potting up some of these runners. They're just coming through now. We've been watering the strawberries like mad to get them to develop their runners. So yeah, I mean they're coming on now. So what we do is we pot these up, allow the roots to develop, and then we can use them as new plants for the new bed. I think some new ones here as well from last year. So these are already seeded, rooted themselves. So what we need to do is dig them up, take the old ones out, sort out the new ones, and use those again to renew the beds. And we're going to move it down to that end, I think, and try and do another 4 rows and completely take these 4 rows out completely, and maybe use this for spuds next year. So yeah, we'll take these out in the next couple of weeks. We've got lots of corns forming now, so it's a good time, sort of week 4ish, to keep sort of shaking the tassels. Helps pollination. You see it flying off here. I've been doing this over the last week, so it helps. So these are the first of the outside tomatoes that are now sort of ready to pick. We've got a few. A few more here. I'm going to put up the last of these spring onions here. And the late crop sort of beans that we planted. 1, 2, 3 lots over there, another one over there coming up. So a few cucumbers coming through, nice steady supply. A couple of them have gone to seed already. Not always worth keeping the ones that go to seed because they cross-pollinate with each other. You never get the same variety again. So I'll probably put those in the compost bin. The compost bin is so dry. I'm going to water it down a bit and I'll turn it over in the next few days, I think. But at the moment it's so dry, it just needs a bit of moisture in it added to it. Give it a couple of watering cans full of water. Cover it over again. Hopefully it will rain the next few days as well, so that will help. And then I'll give it a turn over. Mix in the bark, so allow it to sort of start cooking. Should be able to start cropping the onions and the shallots in the next week or so. The shallots are probably ready now, they're starting to die off. The tops are dying off now, so we can probably crop those in the next week or so. But the onions, I like to leave these to sort of die off on their own. Some people sort of bend them over, so I think you sort of get right at the top of their onion if you do that, so I'd rather let them sort of fall over like this one and dry up naturally. That's drying up naturally, so I'll allow them to dry up naturally, but I think we'll pull the shallots up in the next few days. I think they're ready. Nice bit of beetroot. So that's everything for week 4 of July now. So yeah, I mean we've done a little bit of planting, mainly harvesting, tidying up, watering and feeding. sort of for week 4 of July. So yeah, I mean there's lots of jobs to do, but it's mainly sort of looking after the crops that are starting to come to an end now. A lot of them are coming to an end now, but there's still sort of things coming through. The outdoor tomatoes are just starting to turn red now, so you know, next few weeks we'll be cropping all those. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Our aim is to do a weekly video throughout a whole allotment year, showing you how we sort of grow stuff, how we look after it, and how we even use it in the kitchen. So if you'd like to follow our journey, please subscribe at the button below. If you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and like, and if you'd like to make a comment, please make a comment in the box below. If you've got any ideas, tips we can spread amongst the gardening community, please feel free to sort of comment in the box below. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and happy gardening everybody.